The Prime Minister waving his nation's flag has watched world leaders come and go, but no comeback kid is surely more unlikely than this one. Mahathir Mohamad, Malaysia's Prime Minister for 22 years already, now on his final mission to rescue his country from what he calls the catastrophe of corruption. How does it feel to be, at 93, the world's oldest head of government?
Well, it's surprising, and I sometimes pinch myself to find out whether I'm really the Prime Minister again. Well, I didn't expect to be Prime Minister.
Because you're older than the Queen, even.
Yeah, 1 year. Yeah, but okay, I do manage. Although I'm 93, that is the chronological age, but the biological age is maybe a little bit younger.
Are you a man in a hurry? Because
I am.
You haven't got, let's be honest, you haven't got that long to change Malaysia.
I have always been in a hurry because I thought that I don't have very many years left, even before. So I like to do things fast.
And nothing, it seems, can come faster than the jailing of his predecessor, Najib Razak. Taken back to court last month, where he protested his innocence, but he's been charged on multiple counts of corruption, including transferring around $700 million into his personal bank account. His wife Rosma questioned by police too. 72 bags of cash, jewellery and gold bars were discovered in one of their apartments, though she says they were just gifts.
I don't interfere with the process of justice, but I'm clearing up all the muck that has been left behind. My predecessor stole money. I haven't stolen a cent yet.
Malaysian state-backed funds have invested £4 billion in the UK in the last decade, and the new government fears the corruption trail could spread here.
So when does the shovel hit the ground?
David Cameron and Boris Johnson once fated Malaysian redevelopment of Battessy's iconic power station. And though there's no evidence of wrongdoing here, Mahathir says the deal will be investigated. But is it too late to renegotiate some of what happened during your predecessor's time? So, for example, the Battersea power station investment.
Yeah, we are going to look into everything that was done during the previous regime, and if we find anything wrong, we'll take action.
Far more urgent to most Malaysians is the question of whether Mahathir really will hand over power to his former rival, Anwar Ibrahim. Anwar was released from jail this year on what he says were trumped-up charges of sodomy, which in Malaysia is illegal. Are you going to stick to your pledge to hand over power in 2020 to Anwar Ibrahim?
Yes, I made a promise. I must keep my promise.
So you will hand over in 2020?
I will.
Because in the past you've said quite inflammatory things, like you've said, I would not accept a sodomist as head of the country. And of course, Mr. Ibrahim has been accused of sodomy, even though he says he's innocent.
Business sodomy and stealing a few billion dollars from the country. I think the stealing of a few $billion is more serious.
In the past, Mahathir has threatened to deport gay diplomats, and there's evidence that the persecution of gays in this mainly Muslim country is now on the rise. As a lasting legacy to your country, why don't you change the law so that gay people can just left alone?
The people do not want it. Please remember that we have our own value system. We don't go against our own value system.
But you don't have to agree with it. You could just turn a blind eye.
Why should we turn a blind eye? Once you have the law, you have to enforce the law. It becomes nonsense if you have a law and then ignore the crime.
So you're not going to change the law?
We are not.
In his speech to the UN last week, Mahathir launched a broadside against the Israeli occupation, which he said was a root cause of terrorism. But in the past, he's gone much further, claiming he was glad to be labelled as anti-Semitic. But you can criticise the policies of the country, but you've gone further because you've described Jews as hook-nosed and you've said that they run the world by proxy. That sounds anti-Semitic.
Well, Jews are usually hook-nosed, and they are very, very smart people. And there are not very many of them, but they can influence big countries into doing what they benefit from.
So despite being feted in New York last week as Malaysia's new broom, the old Mahathir is still there, still spouting offensive and racist views. Though his nation of 31 million will be grateful to him if he cleans up his country's corruption and then does as he's promised and leaves.